it's me. I haven't posted in quite a while. But the reason I'm going to be posting now is I did find a book. Let me adjust camera a little bit. I don't know if that's set right. So, the reason I'm posting now is I went out looking at a comic book shop for a particular book. It's actually in the thumbnail, and this book is not unique in the sense that there are four DC books that are like this one. They're all printed in '91, I believe, and they all have something in them, and they're nothing special. Well, they're special in that they're a comic book, but most people who would buy them for what would be inside them, or to finish a run. Like the one I found is Superman number 62. You probably wouldn't buy this one solely for the book itself. You wouldn't buy this and send it to CGC just for the book itself. It would be something on the inside that isn't necessarily a part of the Superman. And there's three other books that are like that, and I tried to find all of them. I tried to find multiple copies because, like many things, someone could have taken it out of this, and this is still from the comic book shop that I bought it from, so I don't know if it has it. And again, most comic book shops wouldn't want you to open up the book to see if it's there. And that would be rude, and also it would eliminate the element of surprise, because I want to see if it's actually still in there, and if it is, it doesn't make the book super valuable, but it's an interesting thing that's in there. And the sad part is, if it's not in there, I can't even really show you what it is, because I don't have a book that has it in it, and I don't have what can be removed from it. It's kind of like I'm talking in a riddle. But let's, let's open the book up and see if what's in there is actually, what's supposed to be in there is supposed to be in there. I noticed that the book, it feels kind of heavy for a book of its size. The book itself, if they removed any inserts, the staples wouldn't look this good, so I'm optimistic it's in there. But that could be wishful thinking. Again, a book like this could very well not have the insert in there. And it is the insert I want. And again, nothing against the Superman run. This is Jurgen's run. This is the team that killed Superman in the early 90s. So, there's a back ad for a classic Game Boy. And normally, if you're handling a book like this, and I have to actually handle it to see if what's in there is there, most people would wear gloves. This book, even if the insert's in there, it's not going to be super valuable. So, I'm not going to wear gloves. I was going to, but then I decided I don't really need to. But if you are handling a book where you're opening it and it is a valuable book, wearing gloves is probably recommended. Although I've also handled higher priced books without gloves on, unknowingly. So, alright. Let's see if the insert is in there. If it's not, it's going to be kind of an embarrassing thing. Okay, we got page 1. I think this is like the honeymoon of Superman, maybe. There's an advert for some Flair NBA cards. Sorry, looking at all who they got. Oh, they got a Charles Barkley. Oh, Scottie Pippen. All right. More story. It almost looks like they're traveling to a place with dinosaurs in it. Almost makes me think they're going to the Savage Lands, but that's not a DC thing. Okay, no insert yet. No insert yet. Okay. The insert's actually included. So this book actually does have the insert in it. And again, you can remove the insert. Not recommended. Do not remove the inserts. You find these books, don't remove the inserts. Because you can send the inserts to the CGC, but there's very little reason to. But this book does actually have the insert in it. And I don't know why I'm flipping through the rest of the book, because the insert is in it. And again, there are 4 books. I can tell you what they are. The 4 books that you would want that contain this insert would be Superman Action Comics, or Action Comics 672, Justice League Europe 33, Superman 62, like the one I got, and Detective Comics 639. And again, you're playing a guessing game, and judging by the looks of the staples, this looks really good. Like, I had no doubt it was probably in there. This does not sell for a lot of money, but it does pretty well. I think if you're dealing with someone who is trying to rip you off, they'll sell it for a lot more. But this book is not necessarily the most valuable. Like, yeah, this book isn't the most valuable book. Like, I think you could find it on eBay for maybe $20 or so. It's more or less, and you can find this copy of Superman with the insert inside of it. But okay, enough beating around the bush, seeing what. And I'm happy to say the insert's actually in there. If you want to take a look at the book again, if you look for this book, you're looking for the insert, and the insert you get is a Sonic the Hedgehog comic book. Now, this Sonic the Hedgehog comic book is technically, and it depends on who you ask, Sonic characters have the weirdest history. Depending on who you ask, there's like 3 or 4 first appearances of Sonic. It's kind of like the black suit for Spider-Man, how there's 3 or 4 keys of Spider-Man where the black suit is like, oh, there's the first appearance, or was this the first appearance, or this one came out a few months later. Like, and it's kind of like that for Sonic. I've Googled it, and Sonic has no less than 3. He has this one. He has a glossy version of this one where it's not an insert, it's just a glossy version. Where it's glossy like the front of a cover. This is more like paper. A paper. And then there's, I think, another insert that's called Sonic 3 1/4. And it's said to be the first appearance of Sonic. I think the first appearance that sells the most is the glossy version of this, where it's the actual non-inserted one. But technically, this could be a first appearance Sonic the Hedgehog, because he did appear, and again, it's all the mapping of it. I don't really know when Sonic. Again, he's had probably like 3 first appearances. It's really weird. Technically, first appearance was in his own video game, but you know, it's just like Harley Quinn, where her first appearance wasn't in a comic at all. But anyway, so yes, this one has the insert. Again, not an overwhelmingly expensive key, but technically, I guess if you want to get the first appearance of Sonic and know you got the first appearance of Sonic, my recommendation is to try to get all 3 of them. The 1/4, a book with one of the 4 DC comics that have Sonic in it, like I just did, and the glossy. That also leads to another thing I found out while I was hunting for this book. The comic book store that I hunted for it in, for a while, I have not been able to submit my books to CGC. So I haven't been able to get. I can't do guess that grade of a comic book if I don't have comic books I can submit to CGC. So I found out this comic book store I got this book from actually does take submissions. So in the coming next year, I hope to get back to submitting stuff to CGC, but I also have I have expenses outside of comic books that should take priority. So it at least gives me something I can do where I can be like, okay, I can submit these books to CGC. It gives me an avenue to send more books to CGC, and I have a backlog of books that I really want to have sent to CGC. And in the future, I'm hoping that I can get those sent out and resume the channel. Again, my channel is based on comic books, so it's not like I can just shoot a video that has no comic books in it, or even comic books but no CGC stuff in it. And it is, I could send stuff to CGC, but it does cost money to send stuff to CGC. So, and I don't really do that thing where you use the hobby to pay for the hobby. I just do the hobby, and then whatever monies I have to send stuff to CGC is what I have. But other than that, I think that about covers it. So hopefully in the coming year, I will be submitting more stuff to CGC, but again, it will take time. I have some really cool stuff. I also kind of want to do my collection review. I did a video where I showed off all my slab books, and it did really well. It's probably the best video I have. And I want to do that again, but I don't want to do it again and just basically have it be a redo or a remake of the original. I want to have at least 10 new books to show you, and I probably do, but I'll say 10 new books from CGC from this point, then I'll do the redo, the remake, so we'll work on that. Again, sending stuff to CGC again. That'll start soon, probably in the spring, maybe summer. I'm hoping in the spring. And then shortly after that, I'll start getting CGC books back. Then I can do the remake of what CGC books do I have. Other than that, I think that about wraps it up. And it's nice that I have I don't know, a key. I think this is a key. But again, first appearance Sonic the Hedgehog. Again, I wish Sonic the Hedgehog's first appearance wasn't so confusing. But again, the best way to do it is collect all of them. So, but that should about cover it. I thank you for tuning in and being patient with my very, very random posting schedule, because again, it's hard to predict CGC when I'm going to be able to work with them again. Hopefully very soon. But yeah, I would say this is a win. I mean, I wanted to get all 4 of the books with Sonic in it, but finding even one is probably a win. Yeah, I was lucky to find even one. I didn't even find, I was looking through the Action Comics and the Detective Comics, and they were oddly missing. Somebody else pulled them. And the Justice League Europe, I couldn't even find a section with Justice League Europe in it. Alright, but I am just rambling at this point. But thanks for tuning in. If you tune in, have a good day.